few months ago, we took a look at the Ribelle Run, which is one of the first Marco de Gasperi Scarpa products to hit the market. This is designed with rocky ground and technical trails in mind, whereas what we've got here today, the Spin Infinity, is very much Scarpa's offering to the ultra-distance running community. So what the Ribelle Run is to technical terrain, the Spin Infinity is for distance. It's got a chunkier stack height and a dual density midsole that will help provide support over not just multiple hours of running, but multiple days too. They are designed with ultra distance running in mind, and I've been using these for longer distances throughout the spring and summer months. Now throughout the winter months, the only thing that might let them down is the sole, and that's simply because it is not at the grippier end of the spectrum. Now on trails, it's fine, but if you're going off-piste onto awkward terrain, you'd maybe want something a little bit more chunky. All that said, Scarpa athlete Simon Roberts did win the Spine Challenger North wearing these this winter, and that is an absolute sloosh fest. It's not personally what I would have used, but he seems to have got away with it, so maybe you can too. Now, one of the drawbacks of any shoe with a chunkier stack height is that it's weak on technical terrain, as it can feel just that little bit more unstable. Now, whilst the Spin Infinity has got a chunky stack height, it's not as chunky as some, such as say Hoka. It's got 26mm at the back and 22mm at the front, so it's a 4mm drop. And on technical terrain, they actually feel remarkably precise and remarkably stable, which is another major plus as they're being actually a distance all-rounder. With the Ribelle Run, I found the sizing to be extremely generous, and the actual toe box almost too high volume. The Spin Infinity is definitely the wider end of the spectrum, but the volume is much more accurate, as is the sizing, and I'd say they fit true to size. When it comes to feel, the first thing you notice with regards to the dual density midsole is actually how firm it is. This is not a soft shoe, and it's not got that same armchair feel that some more supportive ultra-distance running shoes have. Now, the positive of this is that they feel much more responsive on technical terrain, which is something we've already covered. It's a personal preference. Some people may like it, others may not. And it's really difficult for me as a reviewer to say outright that it being firm is either good or bad, because it completely comes down to personal preference. When it comes to the sole, whilst I may not have rated it for winter use, for summer use and on dry rock, it actually works really well. The Vibram Velox Cross sole unit is good on wet rock, but maybe not quite as grippy as Scarpa's own Praiser sole unit that's used throughout the Ribelle Run. However, on the flip side of this, I would say it offers more durability whilst running on harder packed trail, so it'll offer more longevity. On the uppers, Scarpa have used a TPU thermo-welded film alongside a 3D mesh. The former providing a bit of support and protection, and the latter providing that breathability. And between all these constituent parts, you're looking at 305 grams for a pair of size 42 shoes. Now, that's not at the lighter end of the spectrum, but neither is it at the heaviest end of the spectrum either. And considering all the support that it packs in, I'd say that's actually pretty impressive. So the Spin Infinity, I'd say, is a really good all-arounder. It's got a good stack height, but not too much. And again, it's good on both technical terrain as well as that more conventional and well-manicured trail. So it does a bit of everything. It's definitely at the workhorse end of the spectrum, and throughout the months I've had it, it's had a real battering and it's stood up to it really well, despite looking a bit gross and muddy. The only caveats I'd give are just with regards to that dual density EVA, which is on the firmer side, and depending on your personal preference, that may or may not work for you. And the same can be said for its drop as well. 4mm drop is at the relatively neutral end of the spectrum, and if you're a heel striker, that won't work for you. If you want to receive more in-depth gear reviews, please like and subscribe.